My mum put spot cream on my pee-pee and I don't know how I feel. The last 2 weeks I've been worried about a big spot on my pee-pee. Yesterday I had an appointment with a doctor to see what it was. I'm 20 and from England BTW. Anyways, my mum drove me to the doctor's and came in with me. We waited like half an hour and my name was called, so I got up and walked to the doctor's room. Before I even realized, my mum walked with me in the room and I'm thinking, Mum, what the hell, because I'm probably going to have to get my pee-pee out to show the doctor. I sat down and the nice female doctor talked to me about where the spot was and how long it's been there, and then said, "Would I kindly, when I'm ready, remove my bottoms?" She then asked me would I want my mum outside the room while she is looking. Before I could even answer, my mum said no, it's okay, he doesn't mind. It caused me a little bit of embarrassment because the doctor asked me, not her, and I couldn't now say I didn't want her in here. So after a couple seconds of looking at my mum and the doctor, I thought F it and pulled my bottoms down and the nurse examined me. Only took like 2 minutes, but all I could feel was my mum's burning eyes looking in my private area, and then the doctor said pull my trousers back up. I've been worried for 2 weeks about it, but she just said it's probably an ingrown hair that I couldn't have shaved in, and she will give me some pseudo cream to put on my pee-pee in the morning and evenings. My mum said to the doctor, "I'll make sure he puts the cream on." I said, "Thank you," and we left the doctor's. As soon as we got out the doctor's and in the car, I was bright red. I was more embarrassed about my mum blatantly taking decisions away from me, like her being in the room, than the doctor seeing my pee-pee. I tried to talk to my mum about it and she just said she needed to know what's up because I'm her son and she knows whatever the doctor prescribed me, I'd forgot to do it. Then she said as soon as we get home she'll put the cream on the spot. I sat up and said, "What do you mean?" She just said to me that whenever I get prescribed something I don't use it properly and forget, so she will have to do it. I said, "Mum, I seriously am okay with doing," and she just smiled and started the car, so I didn't think anything of it. We got home like 15 minutes after. I went straight to the shower. After I had a shower I wrapped myself with a towel and walked over to the kitchen and asked my mum where is the cream. She said in the bag, so I went over and got it and walked back into the bathroom. No more than 2 minutes later my mum barged through the door while I'm butt-ass naked about to put cream on a spot on my pee-pee. I'm literally so shocked and embarrassed I literally froze on the spot. She said, "Oh, don't be embarrassed, it's only me and I created your body." I then went to push her hand away from the cream, but she grabbed it and squeezed some on her hand. She then proceeded to hold my pee-pee and put the cream on it. It honestly was so cold, so I made a weird noise and she said, "It's okay, Mummy's here." At that point I actually felt a little bit sick. She rubbed the cream in for like a minute and said, "That's the only cream we do today, and tomorrow we're due one in the morning and evening." I said, "Please Mum, I don't want you to touch or see my pee-pee like that." She just kept on saying, "It's okay, I'm your mum. I don't mind everyday random nudity like me getting out the shower or changing and she sees me for a second, but this was over the top. I know she's a single parent that raised me and I'm her only child, but I just think what she did was over the top, and now she plans to do it every morning and evening. What do I do? Has anyone got any advice or anything like this happened to them? I really need help. I love my mum, but I have nobody else to talk to about this. Am I over the top? Is this normal? To be honest, I have no idea what is normal because my mom has raised me to her ways, which might not be normal for others. Honestly, I was so hard typing all of this and I'm thinking of just releasing my load on her face to teach her a lesson.
My boyfriend asked me for an open relationship, so I slept with his brother. My boyfriend and I are both 26 years old and we've been together for about 2 years. We've never had any issues up until last month when he asked to open our relationship. He said that all men have the innate desire to sleep with as many women as they'd like. He said that women are attracted to men like him who are in their peak physical shape and that he should take advantage of that. Proceeding to say something about men wanting to spread their seed far and wide. I didn't see this coming at all and I was appalled. By the time he was finished he told me that I'm perfect wife material and the woman he wants to come home to, but that only rubbed salt on the wound. However, I told him that this was fine with me and asked if he had anyone in particular in mind that had made him come to this decision. He was surprised by my reaction and told me how awesome I was for being so understanding. He then showed me his Tinder profile and an upcoming date. He knew that this arrangement only benefited him because I'm not into casual flings and wouldn't feel comfortable sleeping around. He said he knows that I wouldn't go looking for other guys because I'm too sweet and loyal. This really set me off. He was already looking for hookups before he even brought up the topic of an open relationship with me, and I knew from his Tinder profile that he would have cheated on me regardless of what my decision on the matter was. So I decided the best way to go about this was to do something that I knew would upset him. He has a 19-year-old brother and I called him the following day, explaining the entire open relationship situation his brother had proposed and asked if he'd be interested in having some fun with me. He admitted that he was willing but felt a bit insecure because he was a virgin at the time, but I told him it was alright because he wouldn't be after the night was over. I kept my word and we slept together. Later that night. Afterwards I asked my boyfriend about his date and he said he had a great time. I told him that I met a guy who was younger than him who was a pretty cute, shy, and inexperienced rugby player. He was curious enough to ask for a picture, which I gladly sent him, and when he saw the guy I was talking about was his brother, all hell broke loose. He had a complete meltdown and called me all sorts of slurs and profanities under the sun. I told him it's only natural for me to want someone like his younger brother and reminded him about our conversation where he talked about how women wanted men in peak physical form, which his brother clearly was. He's still blowing up my phone even after I left his house and has sent me dozens of texts since. I told him that our relationship was over, but he kept saying that he forgives me even though I'm deeply effed up and deranged. He suggested therapy but claimed it might not help someone as evil as me. I believe what I did was justified after everything he had said and done, but maybe I went too far, until I realized I had just been getting started once his father sent me a message asking when it was his turn.
The worst intimate experience I have ever had was with a goth girl. A few years ago, in my freshman year of college, I had my first intimate experience with a girl. I use that word lightly, as I have fooled around here and there before throughout high school. Typical 16-year-old bumping and grinding, but nothing serious. I met this hot goth chick during my first semester, and for me it was love at first sight. She was gorgeous, about 5'3" with dyed black hair and piercing blue eyes. I was a typical gamer guy. We were a match made in heaven. At least, we should have been. We went on our first date. At some point, while I was laughing, I knocked my glass of water over onto the tablecloth. The thing shattered. A piece caught itself in my skin. I winced, pulling it out. It wasn't a big one, hardly visible with the naked eye, but it hurt like a female dog. She just stared at me. When I told her I had to go wash it off, she nodded at me, licking her lips, gaze fixed towards my hand. I thought nothing of it. In hindsight, I probably should have. Later that night, I took her back to my dorm with me. It was everything you would have imagined. We got to grinding, kissing, bumping, stripping. Eventually, she had me pinned to the mattress. She told me she wanted to go down on me. I froze for a moment, scared, but eventually said yes. I watched her free me from my boxers and then, well, she went about her thing. There should be a law against getting into it with goth chicks. It was pleasant, at first. But I had an epiphany. I always knew she was a bit moody, being goth and all, but I didn't know she was into pain play as well. I learned this the hard way when she bit down really hard as I was pulling out, dragging her incisors on my PP and tearing through skin. She was way into it and started licking up the blood. I had the most confusing climax I've ever had in my entire life. Then I had a lot of pain, and cried for about 15 minutes as she tried to bandage it up. And told me to, quote, suck it up, it isn't that bad. She explained to me that she believed she was a vampire. I told her I believed she was my ex. I kicked her out of my dorm and never talked to her again.